Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I hope that you are doing well. Hopefully, your morning is moving along well. Maybe you got a cup of coffee like me that's a quarter of the way down, but we slurp the last quarter down just as well as the rest of it. Maybe you're having a nice afternoon, or maybe you're sipping some coffee as well. Or maybe you're like Liam and you need to start going to sleep. It's nap time. It's time to start laying down. Thank you so much for being here. As today we dive into some Nucleus. We're going to be checking. Oh, I didn't pull up any of the information here. I didn't pull up anything. We're listening to the band Nucleus. We're going to be listening to the track Alleycat. This is off of their not self-titled. This is off of their album Alleycat, which was released in 1975. We're taking a listen to this. This was recommended. This was suggested. Sponsored by Joe. Joe, thank you so much for the recommendation. I truly appreciate that. Okay, so Nucleus. Heard of them? I have one of their albums on my wish list of albums to get to. Like if I pull you guys up here to my wish list. How do I search? It's in here somewhere. If I go by date, because I know I've added it somewhat recently. Nucleus, they're here somewhere. But they're in here somewhere. I know I've seen them. I mean, I know they're here because there it is. We'll talk about it later. I have that album on my wish list of albums to get to. I have a long list, as you can see. But yeah, I've seen this album cover, and it's an alley cat in an alley. Like it is what it is. So I'm very curious to see and to hear how this particular track lines up. Also, just because while you're here, can I give you guys a recommendation if you don't mind? If you don't mind, if I share a little bit of what I've been listening to recently. So, like I said, my Spotify has actually been curated pretty well for my specific taste, and I get a lot of jazz or jazz adjacent kind of recommendations because that's honestly what I primarily listen to right now. But I've been listening to this album that had gotten suggested to me. Let me pull it up here. It is Gate of Dreams. Came out in 1977. I'm pulling it up here on. Let me pull it up here. There you go. Okay. By Klaus Ogerman Orchestra. It's like orchestral jazz, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's really, really fantastic. I would highly recommend, if you don't mind, like giving it a listen. These three parts, at least this part of the suit here, which you do have the ending as well later on, but like give these three tracks a listen. It's really, really nice. And it's really cool how orchestrated it is. But then there's influences of jazz, a little ambient as well. Like, just to give you an idea, like a little sample. And then this one picks it up. I'm giving you samples. And then the finale. I've been listening to this album. I've gone through it twice now, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'd recommend giving it a listen. Okay, but you're not here for that. You're here for Alleycat. So let's go ahead and dive on in. We'll discuss it a little bit after. Here we go. Really came in like that. Sorry, I'm having too much fun. I love the little horn blast. A quiet, humble groove with those horn blasts. I like that contrast. I thought I was going to blast it. There it is. Pick up the... Okay, gotta catch the time signature. I gotcha. Just follow that bass line. Guitarist is having some fun here. The guitarist leaned a lot on like that very psychedelic kind of sound. I like how the bass is taking lead right now. Nice back and forth there. I love how they slowed down so much here. The percussion in the back just creating this nice ambience. Now castanets, the chimes. Startup. Because the bass kept that rhythm going, just separated it a lot. Drums caught up into that. That was really nice. Now they're rolling. Now they're rolling. bassist was getting on for a second there. And pull it back again. I messed up the time. Just walking it down. They have a great job of structuring it so that it comes up into big highs and then lowering it back down again. Here, there's that. That's very gong-like, that sound. It's like a door creaking or something. And they bring it right back. I missed it again. I love how psychedelic that guitar is behind the bass. It kind of gives it a progressive soul kind of feel, actually. It sounds like classic 70s soul right here. I love how they brought it back to that. Right back to it, man. Full circle. I love how it has that time to change, but it's catchy and it's so easy to catch it, so it's not like off-putting. That sounds like a classic jazz melody. I just can't place it. Okay, back to walking it down. It's funny because this drum pattern is very bluesy, but the music is anything but. Oh, okay, the piano actually just walked on top of that and added some bluesiness to it. Okay, never mind. Mysterious way the horns come back. You know, there's one way, there's many ways, but there's one way for me personally where I can tell if a song or a track or a piece of music works for me. And that's when the length of it doesn't even feel like the length of it. It's a 14-minute track. It did not, in my opinion, for me, drag whatsoever. It didn't feel like I was waiting for it to be over. It didn't feel like I was waiting for it to begin and go somewhere. It felt like the exact right amount of time for the band to do their thing. And it has so many different movements and ups and downs and places that it went and explored that it felt like no stone was left uncovered or unturned, but that they did a great job of thoroughly exploring the space that they created for themselves. The band is excellent. The band was completely on fire and wonderful to listen to. And I like how in the beginning, this is just my opinion, in the very beginning, these sounds kind of sounded like an Alleycat, kind of scratching around a little bit. I don't know why. It just made me think of an Alleycat. Not this part. This is just some nice keys there. Here, when the guitar starts to scratch there. Okay, hold on. When the guitar starts to scratch in that very funky way, it just made me think of like a cat, like snarling or clawing away in the alley. So I like that it had some heat to it. It had some attitude and some bites to it as well. Obviously, when the music comes in right there, around 15 seconds or so, okay. We all know, like, you give me a groove like that, I'm going to be in it. And I love how they start off with something so groove-laden, so funky to listen to. Keep it kind of slow. This isn't a fast no, this is a ba-da-da, ba-ba-ba-ba, and then you hold the horns and then hit those hits at a little bit of a different place. I think that was really cool and a creative way, which this is going to expand throughout the whole track, a creative way to insert time signature changes and, you know, uncommon kind of movements like that, but to make it catchy, not make it so, like I've mentioned before, so overly technical to the point that, you know, I'm speaking for myself, that I'm like, okay, I get it, you can play, but like, let's make a song here. Like, let's play the groove. And I really like how the band does that. We'll talk about it a little bit later, like when they get into one of the parts that they bookend with, the kind of chorus, I guess you could say. And I really like how they did it at that point. But yeah, starting off with a fantastic groove. I love the horns here. You're going to have Ian Carr on trumpet, flugelhorn, and some synth, and then Bob Birtles on sax of soprano, alto, and baritone variations, as well as some flute. Just a great section of horns between those two. Really enjoyed it, and I like how let me pull it back to the main groove here. You got the horns here, but I like how they play such a catchy, steady groove. But then, like I said, there's those moments where the hits from those horns come in specifically, and they're almost at these uncommon moments within it. So I like how that, in a first listen, throws you off a little bit. Let me speak for myself, throws me off a little bit. But once the track gets going, once we kind of feel out the movement of everything, then it becomes almost like second nature. And that goes along with the time signatures in certain parts as well. Really, really fantastic. The drumming. Drums are going to be performed by Roger Sellers, and he is selling you something that you can use. I love his quiet grooves. I love how intense he can bring some of the drums to, and not in some big, overt kind of huge drum, Phil Collins drum moments or something like that, but something more subtle, obviously very jazz influence. I really like that. At the end of the track, I thought it was really cool how the drums moved into a drum beat that's very bluesy. Right? Ba, 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 ba. Drums are very bluesy at that particular point. I do not quote me. I don't know. I really don't know. So I could be wrong when I say this. Is that the Bo Diddley beat? That thing that he's doing, the ba 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 ba. He's playing the time signature change there, or a Bo Diddley, or like, is that the beat or whatever? It may not be at all. I don't know, or whatever that drum beat is called. Anyways. But I like how that was the influence at that particular section. And I mentioned it while the track was playing, but I said, okay, I think that's really cool how he's playing kind of a bluesy drum beat, but the music itself is not at all bluesy. However, the guitar and eventually some of the piano that was being played eventually does kind of, turn a bluesy eye towards it. So I thought that was really cool. And that is going to be, hold on, I got to pull up who's doing the keys. I'm assuming that's going to be Jeff Castle, who's handling keyboards, and Moog as well. And then Ken Shaw on guitar. I like how they turned into a little bit of a blues band back there. But it wasn't like it played the blues. Just maybe a variation of it in their particular way. And so I thought that was a really cool way to end the track. But let's go back towards the beginning here, because I want to catch this kind of first theme that I thought was really, really cool. Some really nice psychedelic guitar playing here. Bah, bah, that. Okay, so that particular section and that's that part of the composition, they play with quite a bit and for a few minutes. First of all, I love how the groove is. I love how the drums are. It's relatively simple, but he starts to add in some fills here and there and kind of come up with some different things. But I really like how ba da da ba ba da da, and then the time signature ba ba da da ba ba da, because it's still easy to groove to. It's not ba da da ba da 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 ba 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 ba. Like that has a place, but I like how this track they're just cool as a cat, just sleek, and you could throw the cat off the building and it lands on his feet. Don't throw a cat off the building. I'm just saying, like, they're just concerned with making a cool piece of music and not worrying about all the, maybe in other tracks they'll go off and play like Dream Theater, but here they're just playing cool, like just cool. And I really like that groove a lot. I like what they do within that. I just thought that was a really nice kind of section. And I love that eventually we return to that as well. Just really, really well done. And speaking of which, the track does a great job structurally of playing in cool grooves like this, 2 minutes in. Very cool, psychedelic guitar, it's jazzy, hits all the right notes, and then they go up the roller coaster, ramping up, hitting like some really fun, more aggressive kind of tones. Let me see if I can hear. Like a little faster tempo, a little bit more heat to it, and then they'll come back down again and play in the more subtle ground. Then they build it back up. Like, it's a really nice pacing and structural foundation for the band to perform that way, because it keeps it interesting and it keeps it exciting for those exciting moments, and then you can relax a little bit. You can breathe and inhale, exhale a moment in the more calm places. So I like that it actually goes through those motions and it feels like it makes sense. It doesn't just, we didn't just get to this from this without a lot of in between. And without a lot of building up towards that. It makes sense, and I like that kind of musicianship where it makes sense. Getting back to the track. Love the horns here in this spacey section. And the keys, the percussionist is playing with the chimes, and eventually the congas return. Now, the bass is back there, with that psychedelic wow, 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 right? He's just kind of holding things together. And in that section, I really like when a band... maybe the phrase I was about to say isn't the best phrase, but you'll know what I mean. Kills the drummer. Kills the drums. Maybe not the drummer themselves. The drums are gone. Drums are gone. You have a little percussion there, not even like congas to keep a rhythm. No, just like chimes and little things like that. Castanets eventually clicking in. I like when you kill the drummer and let space happen. A lot of space from car, a lot of space from like, you know, those sounds and just the room. Allow the room to be part of the composition. Allow the silence to be part of the composition. And I really like how the bass is still there, almost kind of hanging in suspension, still playing, but not perhaps a truly identifiable rhythm or a truly identifiable groove. And yet amongst the musicians themselves, he's the thread that's holding everything together. He is a thin, thin line that's connecting the guitars, connecting the keys, connecting the horns. He's a thin line and is allowing them to go off on a leash and kind of play in a very expansive, like I said, spatial kind of way. And yet he's always holding it together. And then he begins to reel them in, pull them back in together, and eventually they come back together really nicely. I like when a band does that, and we get that a lot more in like jazz or, you know, kind of progressive rock pieces as well in certain ones. But I like how that's done. Here, I was trying to get to the moment where the drums come back, because piano begins starts syncing. Okay, he's pulling them in. He's pulling them in. Here, the keys becoming more active. The chimes. He's about to move on to. Listen, we're pulling everybody in. Bass is pretty much calling them. See? Drums come in. And once the drums come in, okay, we're rolling this thing again. Take 2. Take 5. And I just really like how that's done. I really like how he kind of controls and maneuvers the band at that particular point, in my opinion. Sutton is kind of the captain leading the ship and navigating where the band's going to come in, how they're going to come in, and just kind of controlling that particular aspect. It's just a really cool moment. You know, I like space. We get back to this beat here. I love how he plays in here. You know, I like these spacious moments as well. And I think that sound is so funny. Go, bang, 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 bang. I'm assuming that's guitar. I could be wrong. Or maybe it's a percussionist doing something. I don't 100% know. But it's really cool. Love this whole downturn here. Eventually, we bookend the piece going back to where we began. This time with the Live One Life. I can never catch that one. I can never catch that horn hit. But I love how we come back to that. And to me, when you have the horns playing like that and such a heavy rhythm that's just ba-da, ba-ba, that is big stomping. I say that sometimes when we're listening to different tracks, especially in jazz, but I love when we get to those big stomping moments, especially because this is like an elephant. Back it up, not kill the speed. I like how heavy and slow this is, especially compared to like the quieter moments, because it feels earned. We built up to that. From the mouse to the mountain. I think that was fantastic. Obviously, like I said, we bookend the piece in a full circle and end with this bluesy kind of section here. This was phenomenal. I think that this was great. This was a really wonderful listen. And actually, because I have the personnel list here I'm looking at, obviously. Interestingly, I have John Heisman, who we just heard recently on Tango 1 a little bit ago, also involved here as the producer. This was a really fantastic listen, and that's why the band is on my wish list. Let me know what you guys thought of the track down below. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out the album I recommended to you. You've already forgotten because you've been listening to 14 minutes of musical greatness, no doubt about that. But you've already forgotten to check out Gate of Dreams. Like I said, Klaus Ogerman Orchestra. Just hit this up. Give it a shot. Give it a listen. Take about 11 minutes or so and listen to the first 3 tracks. That's suit there. Anyways, I appreciate you guys being here. Joe, thank you so much for the suggestion and for the recommendation. I really, really appreciate that. Wonderful listen. Please enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you all later. Bye, guys.